Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use animations with React Native. So first of all, what are animations? So I guess there's not much explaining to do. And today I'm going to be showing you how to use a simple animation inside React Native. And for that I'm going to be using a picture. Now this is my picture and it has an invisible background, and I'm going to be showing you how to set this inside a phone application and how to use animations alongside it. So this is my picture, and I've just set up my React Native application. So I just installed React Native init, and this is the basic application. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. So this is my app.js. I'm going to go ahead and change this, and I'm going to explain to you guys what I did. Right, so initially I've just changed it to this, and as you can see I've imported React and the component from React, and this image has been imported, which is located over here. So the image has been imported, and to start off with we just have a simple view, and within the view we have an image, and the image is source this, right? And for this view we have a styles, and the styling is over here. So next I'm going to show you guys how to add the animations, and I'm going to be adding a few buttons, and in the end I'm going to show you how it all works out on the emulator, right? Okay, right, so now that we have this, so my Android Studio is loading. So what this is going to look like initially is the application. This picture is going to be right at the center, so we need to give it an initial starting position. So I'm going to go ahead and create a constructor just below the app, just below the component, and inside that I'm going to set the initial position. So this is going to be set within a state, and the initial positions will be set, right? So this initial position should now be given within the view, because we're going to be displaying our image within the view, and this position should be styled within the view, right? So that everything is in place, so that this position is met within this view, I'm going to go ahead and change the view, and within the view I'm going to go ahead and replace the initial styles with a few extra lines of code, and it's going to be this, right? Why did I do this? This view will be styled using this, and alongside that we're going to justify the content with the initial starting position. So the initial starting position of this image will now be in the center, right? So now that we've done this, the next thing we need to do is I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys on the emulator what we've done so far. So this is a simple application where the image is at the center and it's been positioned. So I'm going to go ahead and open my Android Studio and open the emulator and just give it some time. I want to go and wipe all data, and yes, and I'm going to run the emulator, and I'm going to show you guys how the initial code is, and then we're going to add a few more code. Alright, so while we wait for the emulator, I'm going to just go ahead and add a few buttons. And so if you see the basic layout of the screen, so the image is going to be at the center, and I'm going to add a couple of buttons here, 3 buttons, which will say top, middle and bottom. And when I click these, the image should start moving up and down. So that is a basic example of how animations work. So I'm going to go ahead and enter buttons over here, and I'm going to have to import buttons from React Native. Right, button. So button from React Native, right? Right, so this should be it for now, and I'm gonna have to add styling for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and add styling. So as you can see, top, middle and bottom, and each time I click on one, it should work out. Right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add styling for these buttons. So just default styling over here. And so styles button has been configured over here. So I'm going to go ahead and add styling here. And if you can see, this buttons container is what develops around the entire thing. And I'm going to have to close the view over here. And right, so sorry, it's already closed. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and format the document, and I want to show you guys how it works. And right, so if you can see the 3 buttons over here within a view, and this view is stylized by a buttons container, which is in turn over here, and it's it's spaced out evenly, and this is the styling for it. And over here, the 3 buttons each have their own unique styling of widths. So this is the buttons, right? So let's just go ahead and see if the emulator has loaded up. All right, so the emulator has loaded up. So I'm going to show you guys how the app looks. So I'm going to go ahead and save this and run the application, run Android, and show you guys how it looks on the emulator. Right, so while the emulator is loading, the next thing we need to do is we need to add functions for when the top, middle, and bottom buttons are clicked. So each time a button is clicked, we're going to need to have an onPress method, which will in turn call a function which is outside this. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this. Now these are just 3 basic buttons. I'm going to go ahead and edit these. And if you can see now, so while we're waiting for the application to install, if you can see now, the buttons have been stylized within this. And for each button, I now have an onPress function. And on pressing each button, I'm going to go ahead and change the position of the image. So initially it's at a flex start position. And so when I click on top, it should go on, it should change position to the top, and middle likewise, and the bottom likewise. So I'm going to have to create this change position function. So I'm going to go ahead and just create that. So if you look at this, I've changed the button container. So I'm going to go ahead and create this change position function. Right. So this change position function is now going to be over here. Why so? Because each time we press the buttons, we're going to have to change the position, and in which case the position will change. Right. So this is passed as a parameter, and this is taken in over here, and this position is set over here. Right. So if you can see, right. Right. So the next thing we need to do is we need to import the UI manager. Why do we need a UI manager? Is because after we've set out our application, we need to make sure that everything's in position. And so we're going to import the UI manager. So UI manager will be imported from React Native. So I'm going to go ahead and import it from here. Right, UI manager. And just below this, I'm going to make it that over here. Right. So now that we've set our UI manager, the next thing we need to do is we need to set the layout animation within the change position. So for each time the buttons are clicked, the change position function will be called, and within the change position function, the animation will be loaded. So go ahead and right. So if you can see, we've set out our layout animation to be a spring method. So for each time we enter the application, or for each time we click the button, this image or Jake should move with a slight springy movement. And let's just go ahead and test this in our application. So I'm guessing it should, yeah. So it's loading. Let's just give it some time. Right. So as you guys can see, this is my application, or in the sense, this is my picture, and it is at the top right now. So right now, if we click on middle, it should come down with a small springy method. Hold on. Right. So it's just downloading the JavaScript bundles. Hold on, just give it some time. Right. So let's try clicking middle. I can't find variable layout animation. Right. So I think I'm going to have to import layout animation. I forgot to import this, right? So I'm going to click on save again, and it should refresh again, right? Right. So as you guys can see, the application is working great, and our small picture, I forgot to import the layout animation. So our picture is now moving. So when we click the middle, now as you guys can see, when the buttons are clicked, an onPress function is called. And when this function is called, this function is triggered, and the position of the picture is sent as a parameter. This parameter is now, it works as a spring. So the picture moves up and down in a spring-like function, and the new position is set inside the state. So this is the CSS for it. And so there's nothing much to it. So animation simply works just like this. And this is a simple application of how it works. So let me just show you guys once again, top and middle and bottom. So this is how animations work. And so thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial.